at the graduate show. First of the year. Always a joy to do. I started this show maybe a little bit early because I got to get out of here in 2.5 hours. And this is going to be a long one, man. We got Dojo's just getting huge. And what do we got here? 27 today. 27. So let's get into it. Again, if you guys missed this, we put this show up on our second YouTube channel, which is called ChessDojoLive. And if you just come a little late, you can, of course, just dial it back a little bit. So first up, we got Sergeant Tom. I found it difficult to upload the games I annotated, so I took a break from playing the longer games and focused on learning outside of the Dojo program. Well, I hope he's figured it out. I now have a rapid score of 805, so hopefully I can participate more fully in the 400 to 500 program. All right, let's check it out. Well, look at that. That's a pretty good progress right there. So dude is basically, he's ready to go again, man. That's a lot of jumps, Sergeant Tom. So how did he do it? So first we want to go back one. Oh, dude cranked it, man. Dude simply cranked it. Look at that. What does he do in non-dojo? He's doing all kinds of stuff, dude. All kinds of stuff. Well, I have a feeling we're going to find a game. Let's look. Well, actually, let's click on games. He's got the blunder game. He's got it all. This dude's doing it. So this was played or uploaded yesterday. Okay, let's take a look. Great opening so far. Yeah. One thing I know about this position, by the way, is that this is a slightly inaccurate move order, if I remember correctly, because of knight c3 here. Knight c3 is kind of annoying because it threatens both d5 and knight b5. Okay, but still, dude is playing his London. And I would want him to say a couple things about these last moves, like was a6 necessary? No. Was cd controversial? Could we have thought about ed? All that stuff. So he misses this. Maybe unnecessary. Queen a5 probably was annoying. Again, queen a5 is going to be annoying. Good. And now he's going to blunder a piece. Now, one of the things we'll say, I've said it a bunch, is that at this level, the most important thing is people hanging stuff, right? So he recognizes in his notes that, oh, rook c8 is threatening something, knight takes e5, and this is the very basic level that people need to address their griefs right here. And it's really falling apart now, right? Mm-hmm. Dang, take it easy on me. Oh, man. Now, rook c1 on the other hand. Now, we're definitely lost, but if I was the dude, just castle, man. Just castle, because here we should consider queen takes g7. You know, to at least give him something to think about over there. Well, we made it. Dang. Well, Sergeant Tom, dude, let me go back. I'm really pumped that you've done these 5 games. Apparently, like you said, maybe it was hard to upload the games at first. But that's the work that needs to be done right there. Okay. So, I made myself a really good coffee. Next up, we have Guga Hedge, who I feel like I thought I remember seeing already graduated, but this says 1 graduation to 5 to 600. Started playing chess last spring, found the dojo vids, found the content helpful, enjoyed the energy, interactions. Having a set curriculum helps to focus my efforts. Still very much a beginner, but I trust in the process. I bought into the idea of analyzing games. I switched to Elite Chess from ChessComp very shortly after joining the dojo and played all my longer games on Elite Chess. I've watched some of the videos on how to analyze games, but at my level, I can have trouble remembering what I was thinking. Also, I do not have a good process for analysis. My other big challenge is carving out time to really focus on chess with no distractions. I have that same problem. I am enjoying the experience of being an adult improver. I think I'm a bit older than Kraai, and I started playing chess to keep my mind sharp. Okay, that's a nice one. So I will say one thing I want to stress with this game analysis is it is a process. You will not just like instantly start even, well, let me put it this way. At the beginning, you won't know what the questions are to be asked. But then slowly, at the first you might be like, oh, there was only 2 or 3 moments that game where I had something to think about. And then you get a little deeper into it and it's like, oh, yeah, there was a whole bunch to think about in these games, right? And I just want to stress that whether you're an IM or 800, it doesn't matter. It will be a process. Kostya still hasn't figured it out. That's why he's an IM still, right? It takes some time. But I'm really pumped on this journey. Let's click on Guga Hedge. So, Guga Hedge, buddy. You fell down. You had a senior moment over here. He was up and then he fell down. I'm going to follow you. That's rough being an older dude. But I think what's going on is he switched to Lee chess. So it's kind of, he's in the middle between 993 and, that's what he said, right? He switched to Lee chess. Okay, let's take a look. And that was for his last rating cohort. And he's got some good work, mostly games analysis. Good, let's take a look. By the way, you can say a little bit about yourself here. I always enjoy reading that. So, you don't have to. It's just kind of something cool to say like, oh, I'm older than Kraai. I'm 60 years old. I'm still alive. Something like that. So this was played fairly recently. Okay. So Guga Hedge is black. Let's give it a flip. And it looks like it's a 30 plus 20 game. Fine. Okay. Bishop b5. Part of Kraai dogma here is whenever they lose a tempo, just first of all do a little celebratory dance, right? Always a nice thing to gain. And the point is, at this level, this game will be decided on someone hanging something, right? But for later, you will develop the ability to not give away time, like White just did. Good move by White. And now we have to make a judgment call. And you played bishop d7. Okay. Now, something I want to stress is, obviously your knight's being attacked. Was there a way to defend and develop at the same time? And the answer is yes, queen d7, right? Develop because you want to connect your rooks eventually, whereas this is passive. Good move by White. Okay. You give him a little kick. And that's a blunder. Yeah. By the way, like I said, these kinds of games will be decided by people blundering stuff. And this is a very standard trick. Usually when you do Puzzle Rush, this will be like problem number 8 or so in there, 6 or 7, 8. And boom, I lost a game like this when I was a kid. But I want to stress here, and this is very important. Again, I say it all the time. It's in your tactics, in your games, that you'll find the tactics. So for example, in this position, White actually is not toast yet and just needs to find this move. If we take here, then this knight falls. If we try to intermezzo you, then the bishop falls with our own intermezzo, right? So this is where the game's decided, right here. offering to trade when we're ahead. And at this level, what we want to do is very simple. We want to trade off all of our stuff and then win in the end game with the extra piece. Thank you very much. I would have traded on a d4, but okay. c3 doesn't make any sense to me. Probably should have taken. There, that's a nice move. Okay. Queen f6, I agree with you. Okay, you're doing fine. You're doing great. Okay. Good move. Uh-oh, yeah, fine. White resigns. Okay. Good, dude. Good, Guga Hedge. It seems like he's down a piece here. He was down a piece before. If he's going to keep playing when he's down a piece, he might as well keep playing here, too. So, Guga Hedge, dude. Fantastic. I love the stories of older people improving. I feel like, for example, I'm never going to be an athlete or anything, but I try to just improve my basic fitness level. I'm like, a 600 or whatever it is. It's hard, dude. It's hard to make the next level. But chess too, man. Chess too. I'm just trying to make it back to where I once was, really. We're not on to Ormley yet. We're on to, let's call him Fidib over here. Pepper Chess asks, when is the book due out? Probably going to be a bestseller. Well, I put out the first, so let's just say where we are. He's talking about the book, How to Analyze Your Games. I put out a first draft of the prose section, and only Knows All said anything about it. The other chumps just... Kostya's off chasing... I don't know if this is true, but I think Kostya's out chasing some lady over there in Europe, man. Because he was going to go play that Barcelona tournament. He's doing poorly. That's a sign. Then he goes immediately to some other tournament. That sounds like he's chasing, and he's doing poorly over there. And we don't hear from him so much in the Discord anymore. So maybe Kostya has got himself something going on. I don't know. In any case, it's been holding up the book a little bit. And DM Oki has done the layout, which looks so far pretty good, of a lot of the games. Not all of them yet, but a lot of the games. So, Queen H1 probably was. I think you're right, M. Norris. I didn't even see it. Let's get into Fibdib. 592, looking good. And basically, I think what happened here is Fidib just joined. Just joined the dojo. Great. Welcome to the dojo. Now we got Ormley. I've seen Ormley before, graduated before. I wasn't able to spend as much time on chess as I would have liked in these last few months. Mostly did tactics from a book I bought before joining the dojo. 1001 Endgame Exercises by Willems. Sounds like a great Dutch name. Closing in on 2,000 soft tactics from books and having lots of fun with it, although I haven't noticed much of a difference in my rapid or classical games yet. I don't feel like I'm getting more tactically aware, though I suppose that will come with time. Managed to squeeze in a couple 60-30. Doing the analysis and annotations afterwards feels many times more valuable than the games themselves. Cool. Yeah, so this is an example of a good struggle. Ormley's been at it for a while. And let's take a look. That's right, you guys. He's talking about Dojo 1.0. We had a little spreadsheet going on. We have evolved. We have evolved, my friends. And look at that. It's a pretty good rating graph right there. Very nice rating graph. We're going to back it up one. He's just doing a bunch of tactics. And here he's done some games. Oh, good. 7 games. So, let's take a look. And before we even say anything, hopefully we'll be able to say something constructive. I think, let me put it this way. A lot of people, including myself, love doing problems, right? And then you have to do other things as well, obviously, to really improve. So So maybe we'll be able to say something from his games. But look, just optically, this is a very good looking annotation. Okay. Now, I love that he doesn't know that this is the Caro-Kann. I think that's great. Why? Because you don't, at this level, you should not know. You should just be like, bows, I'm putting my pawns on e4 and d4, and then we're going to see, right? I'm going to bring out my stuff. Good, dude, good. Yeah, he even does some of the great annotations. I can't stress enough how much better it is for Ormley's chess development to not be doing any openings right now, just playing principled moves, right? So if you do nothing, your moves would be here, 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 and here. Pick one. Pick one, bows. Pick one. One of them, maybe even bishop d3, but pick one of those moves, and you will do fine. Okay, so c5. Frisky. dc5 is the move I, put in my fancy course, but knight f3 is fine. Bishop e3 is probably okay. And the problem for white here is we have a good French, or saying it in a good French for black, but putting it in words that aren't so highfalutin, our center might collapse, right? But you know what I love about this dude? He's just developing, right? And now, where the game will actually be decided is on tactics, and then there's just one question here. Could black have played d4? That's my only question right there. And it might actually be very complicated. For example, it might go d4. Maybe it's not complicated. Maybe it's just not complicated. Oh, yeah, it probably isn't complicated. It looks like we are simply doing this. I was thinking maybe we could throw in g4, at like bishop c6, g4, but then knight e3, and then pop. No bueno. So again, my friends, this is where the tactics, where the game is decided. One thing I want to stress when the center explodes like this is now white should believe in their counterplay in the center. For example, rook e1 is probably kind of, it might be a little hard to meet. I don't know, it's going to be complicated. So that happens. Knight c6 looks good here. Black plays that. Let's play rook e1, baby. No. And he mentions rook e1. Very good. Rook e1, good move. Good move. We're going to say bishop c5 was a blunder. And now we're winning. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's now, a3 is a little highfalutin. Play bishop d3, bows. Bishop d3. It's getting a little wacky. Okay, so now we got ourselves an interesting material imbalance. Yeah. Now, by the way, this whole thing over here, yes, it was a tactical mistake, but more importantly, it was because you allowed yourself to get all tangled up that you got yourself in the situation in the first place. f4, okay. Let's now play bishop f2, please. No. Okay. Actually, this move maybe not so bad. Bishop e1, bishop e6, check to the miserable king, also a thing. Bishop e4, check to the miserable king. By the way, look, you could have won it this way, too. A little frisky. I like the... clever. And look at those, how powerful those bishops are. Oh, no, Vaus. You did that. Oh, yeah. So sad. Yeah, you're on top of this game, man. Well, as we said, this is how it gets decided. Jamil, dude. Yeah, that guy, dude. He's having trouble getting it together, but he has some kind of league game over there in London coming up later in the month. Yeah, like he's in his 20s, and people in their 20s think they can go and drink and be merry, and to a certain extent they can, but it ain't gonna help your chess. Ormley Boss, you're doing great, man. I like your icon too. Okay, so that was Ormley. Next we got Felix doing a lot of work. I remember Felix's name. And back it up one. Oh, dude, Felix is really going for it, man. That's some good work right there. What's a non-dojo? What's the tactics? Okay. And then let's look at some games. Oh, we got loads. Oh, Felix Blachowicz. Right, dude. Felix Blachowicz, I believe, is in our book of how to analyze your games, I believe. Okay, fine. Okay. And that's a mistake because they hung a pawn. Or at least it seems like they've hung a pawn. Okay, let's look. Bishop f2. Queen f6. And now you just got to play knight f3, Baus. Just knight f3. Now, maybe queen f3 is playable. Yeah, but definitely knight f3 is the prudent move. Yeah, so no, I think, okay, so queen h4, let's see if he finds it. I think the problem here for white is what about knight e5? With the clever trick that on queen f6, we'll check first and then recapture and not lose our coconut. I think that was the big question. Dude doesn't see it. By the way, look at how fast these people are moving. But Baus. Okay. but Baus. Now he's just hanging all his coconuts here. And he just resigns. I mean, if you're going to resign, why would you resign quite right there? Because he just hung his business. Well, so it was a yard sale. Now, by the way, like when we're making our path up to the 1,000 barrier, we should expect a lot of games like this where we're thinking hard about what we're doing. Our opponent blunders a pawn. We then have a complicated tactical situation in queen f6. And let's look how long Felix thinks here. 2 minutes. No, wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Okay. Again, it's going to be tactical awareness, and it's going to be using your time. And you have to recognize, especially when you play online, that a lot of players are just going to be, we are going to be distracted, and they're not going to be able to be thinking system 2. They're just going to go pop, 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 and it's going to be weird. And you will think like, oh man, I'm an idiot. How did this happen? Now, Abdul's saying, I don't think black blundered a pawn, and maybe the trick is, that Abdul's on about, we have to look, is queen h4 intending queen d4? Is that true, though? I go, yeah, probably. Well, it's still complicated, let me just say, because that knight on d5 is still hanging. It's a little complicated still. Black certainly deserves to lose a pawn after the crimes that they committed with d5. Because let's think about it. In this position, What is the only point of rook e1? To make d5 difficult? That's the only reason. Okay, Felix. Congratulations. All right. Next up, we got Andrea Arf, who I remember from earlier graduations. And look over here. I'm going to back it up one. Beautiful. Okay, they're doing some stuff, mostly tactics. Looks like we probably won't see a game. Just look at the ratings chart. Look at that ratings chart, dude. We have a, it's so, let me just say, if you are in the under 1,000 cohort and you work on it, you will probably have some kind of epic game like this. And this is also cool that Andrea's using the USCF over here. Let's take a look. We got a game. We got one game. Okay. New York City. Beautiful. Get the chance to play in a famous old club. We should talk about knight takes g5. What I want to say that I like is white is playing just nice developing moves, and black is losing time. A little funky. Well, maybe not necessary. No, a little much for me. A little much. Black should take now. Now, why don't I like e4? Because you're loosening this coconut. Bang! Oh man, this is rough. Faith, take it easy, buddy. Man, this guy's just coming. Dude, what's going on? Oh man. So let me just say, your opponent played pretty good. What did you say? You're playing like about 1,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so besides losing time in the opening, your opponent played pretty good. Did Twitch do something after I mentioned the coconuts, man? Okay. Andrea, well done. Cool that you get to play in the graduates. Cool that you're doing all those tactics, too. Okay, next up we got John. John might, I don't know how you get 0.16, but he's graduated several times. Maybe not ready to graduate here to the prestigious 800, 900 group. Started 2023, that's great. Looks like they're doing 0.16 of tactics. How do you do? He's done 16 pole guard mates in one. But he isn't noting down his games, right? And I just mean, give yourself credit for the games you're doing here. So this is Muffin Man, I believe. Let's take a look at the Muffin Man. Now, let me just say with the c5, we've seen it a couple times today already. The thing that white should realize is that costs black a move, and he's already down in time, and so now we should start dreaming about getting frisky. And so dc5 looks good, and maybe we could check first. Okay, good. Pop, pop. Oh, see, he's opened himself all the way up. Let's castle, please. Okay, good. Again, not a developing move. And then I don't know why we take here. Ooh, nasty. Of course he should play knight c3. Of course he should play f3. This weakens those light squares. And here, well, queen e5. Here would be a moment actually to analyze a little bit. This knight is horrendous. And what we don't want is we don't want white to ever play f3. Because we want to be the master of the leg squares. Now, if we play bishop f3 immediately, then I guess queen e6. So maybe queen f5, just intending to snip the dude if he does play f3. Then we can play bishop f3 ourselves. I don't understand. Thank you. Now the knight's really problematic, right? But I don't know what he's supposed to do. It might be a blunder to play f3, but what he's supposed to do is knight's toast. Now this is a nice tactic. Look at this bad boy. There we go, man. Dang, take it easy. Dang. Dang. Checkmate, baby. Checkmate. The Muffin Man says checkmate. When will the rating bumps drop? I don't know, man. It makes me nervous, you know. They say that old people that we're reactionary, you know. And I feel that way about this new rating system thing. You know, I'm like, Bows, we had a thing going on for, you know, basically, let's say 100 years. And now you're going to change it just because some chumps feel like they need to be higher rated? What are you doing? We had a system. Now everyone's going to be a GM. What's going to happen here? I don't like it. I don't like it. The old man doesn't like it. The old man doesn't like it at all. However, I still don't know exactly how it's going to look when it goes down. Okay. I believe we have John. No, that was John. And now we have Americon. I joined the training program 18 days ago and really enjoyed the tasks of the 800, 900. However, I had already finished before the program mate 1s and almost all mate 2s up to 425. I also had much higher scores on 5-minute puzzle rush and survival, so I tried to do all the other tasks apart from the middle game sparring, which unfortunately didn't have the time to arrange. One classical game. My focus is now to do more classical. Okay. Yeah. In his 50s. All right, dude. I'm in my 50s too. Now, let's go see what's going on. And dude is definitely legit there. Okay. Lee Chess Classical a little higher, but this seems to be more active. Yeah, you don't want to be playing against the computer. Okay, cool, Americon. So you're doing some work. And let's look at how you did it. That's some good work right there. Yeah. Well, let's just click around a little bit. Nice. Nice. Learn chess the right way, number 3. Okay. Oh, that's good. Let's see if we get a game. Here it is, Americon. All right. So here we go. Oh. So theory definitely approves of bishop b4. I played this when I was a kid. It's very spicy. So knight c3. This line was more interesting when before the computer came along. Let's put it that way. And now the critical move is knight takes e4. Okay, so black takes, knight takes e4. And now what I think here, Markham, is I'm almost certain that you saw this somewhere, and it's actually the theory of this whole thing that's confusing you rather than helping you. So, for example, I don't think you come up with this idea unless you believe like you'd seen some similar shot, right? With bishop f7, knight g5. Now, the compensation here, it's important to understand, is the first thing we have to do is we have to prevent black from playing d5 themselves. That's why d5 for us is the main move. And usually the way this goes down, and why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this? Is it goes bishop c3, and then we do this wacky move. Bows. Holy moly. And let me just say that it gets hot. Okay, it gets very hot. But again, you know, you're playing this big gambit, and it's still principled moves, but, you know, I have a feeling if you tried to memorize some stuff, that's ultimately what led you to do this kind of funky funk over here. Right, now we're down a piece. It's the bishop, watch, bring your king out, buddy. Bring it out. Good move. The king is safe, and now I have to think how to defend. Again, when we go to the end game, the king wants to be in the middle. So I did a course called It's About Time on Chessable, and I gave a couple positions like this where I was just like, everyone's doing castles. No, bring your king in, Bows. Bring it in. Bring it. Be courageous. He's a man now. He's a champ. Come on. Keep him in there. Good move by your opponent. Good move. Yeah, thank you for the pawn. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know if we want to trade like this. That can't be right. That can't be right. What is he doing? He's just giving you stuff. Now maybe he is winning, but I'm just like, well, he's making it too complicated. Now, by the way, this is now a very interesting endgame, and this would be a great opportunity for anybody to analyze what they think is happening in this position. I think king d5 is the interesting move here. And now we want to, he plays h4, maybe. I want to play stuff like b5, of course. That wasn't it. Now it's time for run, Forrest, run. Oh, well. Very good. Oh, it's fun now. Now, I have a feeling that this would be, again, a great position to analyze. So notice you lost a full tempo here, right? Because over here, you just play king g5 and you're up a full tempo on the prior situation. And you will get to h8 faster than dude will get to a1, right? So El Quino will be looking over here. Now, maybe it doesn't make a difference. There we go, buddy. Yeah, searching for Bobby Fischer. Final scene of the elementary school championship. Same tactic, except there, black queen's first, but the black king is here, and Josh Waitskin zaps him, Bows. He zaps him. Okay, so Marcom, great, dude. That's looking good. By the way, you can see that year in review. I'll click that on a couple people. It's a cool thing that Jack Stenglein, our amazing web presence, did for us. Think and act beyond. Dude, this guy just keeps coming. He graduated several times, doing the work. Let's read what they say. After several OTB tournaments, I'm finding that my calculation skills still need a good bit of work. I've uploaded a couple of my games, but not all of them. But I'm getting more comfortable with OTB play, which is good. I agree. So I'm graduating myself up a level to focus on the tasks at the next level. I think it will improve my ability to visualize and see tactics that I'm missing when playing OTB. In addition to dojo training, I've started a casual chess meetup locally, which I hope to use to help me in my overall improvement. Okay, cool. Let's click on this. Yeah, I remember this guy, yeah. So, think and act beyond. I want to say especially if you're doing a local meetup, put your place up here. Where are you? You know, I'm sure people would love to see it, be a part of it too. You know, I'm going to be in Charlotte next weekend, not this one, next one, and we're going to do a Chess Dojo meetup before the tournament there. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. And I think especially as the dojo grows, we'll have more and more opportunities for there to be like in real life get-togethers where people socialize, but also do the sparring and the work together, maybe analyze their games together. Amarcom's here. Great. That's right. Josh goes, check. Thank you very much. That's right. Beloved Bookkeeper's going to be there. Nice. Beloved Bookkeeper, which section are you playing in? Now, she oftentimes plays up, and I'm like, Sam, just chill it out. Just chill it out, you know. Just play in the normal section. You don't got to go crazy. Okay, now, Think and Act Beyond is doing some great work. Great work. Really good macros here. Yeah, so this looks great. And spending most of the time on games and analysis, which is also good. If I click this thing, yeah, good. Let's see if we got a game. We do. We got several. And I have a feeling Think and Act Beyond isn't noting the games because, at least in that pie chart, I think it would have been bigger if they had noted, look at all these games they've done, you know. Okay. So, pop. Actually, wait a second. This one might be a real game. So let's just click on this. Right, over the board tournament. I prefer to look at these. It's generally a little bit more substantive. Right on, Sam. Good. Not only is it, I think that's the right section for you, but you have a legit shot of winning that under 1,500 thing. You're not allowed. They don't let you play in 1,700. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. It's obviously a little weird, but this is a known thing. Knight BD7. You're doing fine. Have I seen this one before? Have I seen this? I feel vaguely familiar. Yeah, I have seen this one. We've looked at this one before. Yeah, I remember this bad boy. Yeah, we've looked at this one before. Hold on. So, I think it always is by date played. Let's look at this one then. Dojo open. Little Frisk. I think I've seen this one too. Uh-oh. Okay. I think actually, what I think happened actually is, so it kind of seems like, well, these were kind of recent, but like, yeah, he did more game analysis before and is now doing more of the other stuff, which is fine to focus on that for a while. Okay, so that's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Roy here. And, you know, obviously crushing it. And if we go to ratings, you should put your USCF here too. Okay. Next up, we got David Ham. Now, David Ham graduated last week too. And I was like, David, what are you doing, buddy? So, let's take a look at David Ham. You know, it's a little confusing. So almost ready to graduate. In any case, close enough. Close enough. One thing I want to share on the achievements page in the Discord, I linked to David's Chess blog, pretty cool, and he also got on to the Perpetual Chess podcast, so you can listen to a little bit of what he says there as well. So, yeah, super cool. And let's take a look at how this happened. So, tactics, yeah, okay, and then, hey, David, he's doing some good work. And we got some games. This was played very recently. Now, I did just do a show last week where he also graduated. I might have looked at, I just want to make sure I haven't looked at this game before. Okay, yeah. So I haven't seen it. That's fine. Good. Now this is a very strategically rich position, and there's a variety of ways you could play here. I'm certain that's okay. And then this is a little weird because you're undoubling his pawns. But okay. Okay, I'm happy just you're developing. Okay. Okay. Now it's a loss of time, but he didn't gain any significant time either. Okay. Okay. Both sides playing pretty well recently, honestly. And then this is definitely a moment where you lose your mind. Now, one reason that you really want to make a habit of always is suggesting another move than the one you played if it was a mistake is I'm certain it was a little uncomfortable here in terms of finding a plan, because bishop takes f3, it's just kind of, why would you do it, So then, other moves to suggest would be bishop f5, h6, something along those lines. So, now I don't like this move. Why would you ever don't take the pin piece, spouse. And I guess we're in trouble, though. Yeah. And now we're in big trouble, honestly. I think we are lost no matter what happens. In fact, let me just do a take back. I criticize bishop e4 on positional grounds, but if it's winning, it's winning. That's what they told me in school anyway. Now, queen e6 might be better, but doesn't d5 win all the coconuts, right? I think all the coconuts go after that move. Okay. So you were playing fine up until this point, right? And this is where, that's a positional mistake, and this is also a positional mistake. And the reason I label it as such is usually when we make positional mistakes, that's when dire tactics open up for our opponent, as they do here. Yeah. Erikido asks, does queen f5 hold? Well, let's see. Well, he can't do queen f5. The rook is looking at that square. Yeah. So you guys check out his blog on Chess, and we got a couple people really going for in the dojo, which I love, I really love him, and he's one of them. So, that was David Ham, and now up next we got Ard. I haven't played classical elite chess for a while. After joining the program, I wanted to check the elite chess classical strength, and apparently I can graduate. What does ARD mean? So it's a team. It's a team, but I don't know what it is. Does anybody know? All right. Well, dude, you're ready to graduate again, too, with your parabolic curve. Okay. So, we're going to go back one. And game. Maybe we don't have any games. Oh, we do. Okay. By the way, let me just say something. Oh, he put it in here. It looks like games was analysis 11. So let's click on that. Okay, yeah. So he's got one game in there, and he put it in there. He's got two. Let's take a look. Okay, so just in general, don't move pawns. Bring your pieces out. Pawn moves are there to facilitate your other pieces getting out. C3 gets in the way of El Nito. So what would be reasonable moves? Here, 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 here. Excuse me, here. You know, those are all reasonable developing moves. And does A6 make much sense? No. He just read some chessable course. That's why he did it. You know, what should he do? He should play knight F6. Come on. Okay. 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 That's a good threat. We're going to hold it together over here. I'm not sure I understand rook E8. Okay. Oh, I don't understand that. Well, good, good. Now, by the way, you know, we can criticize it a bit, but your opponent hasn't been able to do anything with their pieces, and you're doing Harry the H-pawn in a classic aggressive style. He's got to take back with the pawn, not the knight. It's too weakening. There we go. Now, actually, let me say something about this F4 push. Very important to understand that at the moment, your force count on the king side is 6 plus 9, right? And your knight over here isn't involved yet. When you play F5, though, it liberates, in a sense, this bishop. That bishop gets to do something, right? And just note that when that goes down, yes, you are getting your rook on F1 involved, right? Good. But it's not, it's a trade-off, right? Because then that bishop, it gets developed on C8. Let's just say here, we should be really focused on finding a way for this knight to get back into the game. And even slow playing with knight d2, f3 isn't ridiculous. We're just adding more and more power to that side of the board. Ooh, I didn't like that. See, look at his bishop. Before it was a chump, now it's fully come to life. We gave him some things. Wow, this guy's playing pretty good chess, dude. Dang. Dang. Take it easy, Bows. What's going on? There's so many questions. Hold on. There's a lot of questions here. First of all, we got rook e5. And then on queen f6, we got to at least contemplate bishop g5, don't we? That's a check. Kraai, it's a check. but we had rook e5. We were still in the game. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, Ard, not a bad game. One other thing I'll stress here is, I guess you're in, you got you know, you do get 20 seconds to move, but you were clearly in time pressure. That there's a lot to think about in this game, right? So, for example, waste of time, right? A6 often makes sense in Sicilians, but it makes no sense after c3. Why? Because the whole point of the pawn on a6 is to dominate this bad boy who is not there. He's not there at the moment. Right? And queen f3 is interesting. Knight b3, probably not, right? Especially if you're going to decide to play e5. So it's about time, and but then, you know, your opponent also gave you time, and you got this nice initiative against the king. Again, I'll stress, when you play f4, f5 like that, and you have the attack, well, first with f4, f5, you got to be cognizant of freeing the bishop on c8, and you got to think about your other pieces getting in there, like the knight. Okay, we're going to see Art soon. In fact, Art, I believe, could already graduate this one over here. Let's do Art's year in review. Let's just see how it looks. Oh, look at that, dude. Look at that. Oh, this is the Art's year in review. What happened here? What happened? Maybe it's because I'm not logged in properly or something. I don't know. I think my login expired. Okay, let's try that again. Year in review. No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in year in review. In any case, congratulations, Art. And here we go, continuing now with Pigeon. We've seen Pigeon before. I really enjoy playing through logical chess move by move. I think the endgame algorithms might count for too much. I actually put that down in our list of things to think about for the Dojo 3.0, which will come out in May of this year. We got a lot to do before then. I worked through all the algorithms in less than an hour. Fair enough, Pigeon. Fair enough point. 1291. Pigeon will graduate soon. I love the USCF. And, ooh, you got a FIDE rating too. Okay, good work. We'll go back one. Right, and as you can see, the time in the endgame was 24 minutes, but he crushed it. But he crushed it. I don't know how he did it in 24 minutes, though. Those are things, you know, those algorithms, you got to do it 3 times in a row. You know, you got to do it 3 times in a row. There are certain things which maybe can be done more quickly that we do give points for. A great example of that is the post-mortem, right? So, for example, you're not maybe going to improve a gazillion by doing a post-mortem, but it's such a valuable thing as a part of your habituation in chess that it's important enough that we're like, we really want to stress doing it. Right? Okay, so let's take a look at Pigeon. Pigeon's got a bunch of games. This one played fairly recently. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Bishop b7. So this is obviously a position, a kind of position that can happen from a variety of move orders and yada yada. In general, what we need to be suspicious with bishop b7 with is that it's hitting a rock at the moment. And it leaves the light squares over here, kind of abandons them. So maybe not a terrible move, but we have to be really careful about it. So, knight c3, knight a5, okay. And then knight d5, that can't be it. That can't be it. So, knight d5, good. I like this move. I like this move. And now we got 2 bishops. Okay. Good. What was white's problem, by the way? Really moving a developed piece twice after knight a5. And I don't know, for example, if it works tactically, but this would be the move to consider right here. And the reason I don't know is maybe there's some way to play knight e4 and hack the knight. So white would have to be thinking about that, right? But it's this tender light square that white should be trying to focus on. And then here, yeah, we're just giving away too much time. So good moves. Don't like it. So right here we have to be patient. And really, actually, I think this is an example where at a GM level, this is it's definitely an advantage for black. But where we're at here, it's maybe not that big of a thing. I think you should still be thinking about basic piece activation. And so F5 seems reasonable to me, just to say I'm going to get my rook involved. So we hang a pawn. Good move. Oh, he's just playing it nice and cool. Notice that our bishop, because of the pawn on d5 doesn't have any zhuzh, our bishop on b7 is pretty well dead. Oh, so this was a bad move. Because now your bishop is alive. And one of the things I've talked about a lot is one reason people often don't appreciate bad pieces until much later in their chess is because their opponents fix them for them. So for example, this was a bad piece, but our opponent just really helped us out. Now it's doing something. Okay. Yeah. That wasn't it. Thank you. No entiendo. Oh, nice and smooth. Not very smooth. And he gave up. Okay. Nice game. Oh, this was played at me and David Pruess's old club. Tuesday night at the Mechanics. So, right. And Pigeon is going for it, my friends. Done many annotations like this that are very good. Let's go back and check out Pigeon again. Really nice annotations. And already doing, this is then 63 points in the new cohort. And those are the algorithms, I think, here in Silman's Endgame. Okay, beautiful. So, next up, we have Scott Johnson. So, thank you, Scott, for saying that. One thing that's kind of interesting is that somebody recommended to me that I should read this book. This guy I kind of know him well, but Davorin Kuljasevich, also known as Cool J, and he did a book called How to Study Chess on Your Own. And I think it's well-intentioned, but I think it's a terrible book. Because he's kind of like, look at some positions, enjoy it, go really deep, I like that kind of vague advice. And I think one of the things that we've really learned from the dojo is the vague advice people don't want. And honestly, I don't want it either, I appreciate doing some analysis and that it's fun to do, and yeah, you should, find some nice positions and really go deep on them. But bows. I'm reading this book, you're telling me how to do it on my own, and then he's talking about his coach, he's talking about his students, and I'm like, you just were trying to say you were doing it on your own, bows. So anyways, I appreciate that people want the plan. As I've said before, for my little own fitness journey, I don't want to think about that at all. I want somebody to tell me exactly what to do. And if there's a way in which the dojo could really evolve is maybe even being more directive in terms of the things people should do. All right, here we go. Scott Johnson. Dude has made it way up there. 1407. Take it easy, Scott. Maybe he's saying my USCF isn't so high, but look at that jump. That's a pretty nice jump over there. So let's take a look at what's going on with Scott. Okay, some nice work. Some nice end games. There we go. All right. And we got some games too. So this is Scott. And he's playing the Scandi. So, D3, a funky move. Now, one of the things I want you to see, Scott, if you're watching this thing, is that you now do a move, C6, which some book has told you to do against the move D4. Okay? After the move D3, however, we don't, and why do we have to play C6 against, say, D4? Because we're really concerned that a later bishop D2 is going to mess with our queen, and we're dominating the knight. But after D3, it is no longer necessary to play C6. So imagine for a moment that you didn't know anything about openings. What move would you play? Well, you would probably play either knight C6, E5, or bishop G4. All of those would be far more active and relevant to the position after D3. So again, right, studying the openings too much at the beginning is not a help, because your opponents will do something weird like D3, right? And then you don't need the fanciful C6. You really don't. Knight A3, too, makes zero sense. Good. E6. Now, I just want to say something obvious. You could win a tempo with E5, hitting the knight. What do I mean by winning a tempo? You got to move your E-pawn to get your business out, right? Why, in fact, are you moving E6? Because that's the way they do it in the books, usually. And in the GM level move orders, that's probably where the pawn belongs. But right here, White just gave you another tempo, right? By playing this move so we could smack him. He goes back. He goes back anyway. He goes back anyway. No, it doesn't make no sense. H3 doesn't make any sense. You just castle bows. Good move. By the way, I love how you're developing. Maybe unnecessary, right? He snips. He's obsessed with your bishop. FG, a very interesting move. So maybe a GM level move, honestly. You are saying, hey, bows, I want to open up my rook. I'll accept this weakness for this open rook. You should say something about it. That's an interesting move. G5, isn't it? We wanted to move our knight anyway. Okay. Now, why do I believe in your position? Because look at this thing. Look at that square. So juicy. Can't be a bad move. Oh, he's getting frisky on us. Nice. Look at our knight. You want to think about his knight? Look at your knight. Oh, that isn't it. B6. Nobody. Yes, knight E5. It's not even a question. Look at this knight. Look at this knight. Where does it want to go? Here. Here. It's been dreaming of that square, bows. Or if you want to, stick a queen in first and then play knight E5. But B6, no. Time. Good. Okay. Okay. Oh no! Was it really necessary? So I have to take my praise back. What's the simple way for you to play? Play rook d4. Play over here. Now our knight became poor. And now we have some grief, a little drama. Good. 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 And now we have ourselves an interesting position. Now, in a couple moves, both players are going to say it's a draw. Let me just say, this is a moment, this is an opportunity for you to think about what's going on here. And let me stress, there's a lot of questions. So, you played rook f4. The move to consider here, I think, to try to squeeze him a little bit is a4. That said, let's look at your move. Check to the miserable king, and dude plays rook c2. At the minimum, we have to analyze this coming ending. So, pop, pop, pop. I'm going to go ahead and say that's forced. Then we're going to look at it. Now, he should put the king on a square where it's not going to be a check. Let's put it here. We are also going to put a king on a square that's not a check. It's not letting me. There we go. I think that is the resulting position. Now, maybe this is a draw, but white's got to prove it still. Now, when we play queen f8, do not go king e3 because of this. But we will play here. And at the minimum, our pawn isn't off the board yet, right? He still has some questions. So, yeah, these are the things to think about in these endings. Scott Johnson, well done. So, next up, we got Trevor. Trevor has graduated a bunch of times. 1285, maybe reached it and fell back down a little bit. Let's follow Trevor. Activity. We're going to go back to see how they did it. Done a lot of end games. Let's see if Trevor's got a game. Trevor's got a game. Okay. Now, whenever I see inaccuracy, e5 was best, I know that what that means is that Lee Chess automatically generated that at the end. Lee Chess, I think, is even worse than chess.com in terms of like what it does to games at the end. It does, like, the default setting is for it to automatically do some juicy computer analysis. Harry Sobel's talking about the Cool J book. I don't see the plan in there so far. I see like the rudiments of maybe a kind of thing, but I don't see a plan. Okay, queen f3 is weird. Now, let's talk about how to respond to this kind of thing. c6 is not a developing move. You do not want to take because that develops the knight, right? So what move should we play? We should play knight f6. Why did you play c6? I think it's because in the normal Scandi stuff, they play c6. Here, of course, we have no reason to play c6. Definitely poor. What would be better? Knight c3. But the computer, why? Time. Computer understands time. Again, just a loss of time. Good. The knight on e3 is kind of weird. Knight a6. Let me just share the move king d7. Pow! Bring that baby in. Why? Because the knight on a6 is not a great piece. It's dominated. Good move. No one understands. Unnecessary. Good move. Fixing our bad piece. Good. Okay. Now we need a plan, right? As I noted before, I referenced this course I did about time in the game. There is no sense in castling when the endgame's here. So the king is going to be much stronger in the middle of the board than it is going to be on the side of the board. So this is a very common mistake that we see all the way up to like 1800, 1900. Interesting comment about Cool J's book. I started 2023 following Cool J's plan, but got me nowhere. It's too broad, too many things suggested. I stagnated for 5-6 months. I got to the dojo doing way better just 2 months. Oh, that's good to hear. You know, it's funny with the Cool J book. I think it is very well intentioned, but like the first chapter that I read this morning, you know, he calls it mindset. And it's tricky. Maybe it's an English language thing, but you know, there's that book called Mindset, which is very popular. It's not really about that. It's like a bunch of chess aphorisms that kind of go in different directions, you know. And then the mindset itself isn't that of a structured plan. It's like, well, you should, you know, analyze some positions, you know, which sure, that's great, you know, but but it's kind of, is that not helpful? Okay, let's go back to this. B5, it's important to understand why the machine might not like this. It's because we're giving away this square, right? Now, that said, this is kind of hard to know what to do in this position, right? So, B5, and now A3 isn't it? Knight C5 is definitely a thought, but also note that F3 isn't ridiculous with just the idea of stopping this knight from doing stuff. Good move. Okay, and I think knight D7 is a good move. I'm not sure I like that one. Good move. No, I don't know about that. All right, here we go. Knight B6. Now, this is tactically controversial because we have to analyze knight C5. Right? What is going to happen here in this position? That's the threat. Kind of a bummer, right? Well, maybe you could play B4. But I don't know. I have a lot of doubts because then their rook is developed. F5, no one knows what they're doing. 97, no one knows what you're doing either, boss. No one knows. Yeah. So. Good. Now, maybe B4 is a huge mistake, but where I'm saying good is it's great that you were able to dislocate that nasty knight. And maybe B4 is a mistake, but it's definitely the kind of thing you want to do right here. Yeah. This looks, I mean, that's if I was playing blitz chess, that's what I'd play, B4 right there. Yeah. I'll play rook F8. Now you finally really achieved what you wanted this whole time. Checked the miserable king. Yeah, good move. And now probably rook E6. Let's look at your endgame analysis. Looking about knight E4, if that's meaningful. Yeah, and it probably should be a draw here. Don't play rook A4 though, because that lets the king in. So let me just say this is probably a draw, but this would be a great position for you to spar. For example, let's say king E6, rook B5, and now A4. And the point is, our king is more active than their king. And we have the outside pass pawn. So it should be a draw, but you could still give him the business here. And those are the positions we want to analyze. Now, you played king f7. To my eye, king d6 looks to be the right square. This is obviously weird. Unclear why we're going to the... Why are we going to the hole, boss? Why are we going to the hole? And now you had rook e3. And by the way, the computer is not helping you here because we want you to find these tactics. It doesn't help when the computer's like blunder. Rook e3 was best. All right. So notice what happens here is you instantly, I don't know, instantly is fair to say, but you played rook d3, taking on h3, and then it really relieves White's defensive task. White may be drawing here, but this is the move we want to consider. So, yeah, we're threatening rook d3. We're threatening to bring our king and activate it, and the king wants to be a shepherd to this pawn. Right? Maybe white has enough resources here, but that's the move we want to play. This instead happens. That's very suspicious. King e5. I think. Well, actually, he still has a little questions. G5 was a good move. Good move. Oh, dude, what have you done? Have you done a genius? Good on your opponent. Okay, so he blundered, right? Okay, now we have ourselves an interesting endgame. Now, you correctly know that h5 is winning. And I think you're winning no matter what. But that is obviously, what are you giving? You're giving time. The good news is I still think you're winning, even if they play the more correct king e4. The key position to know is that is winning for black. For example, pop, pop. If it's white to move, it's a loss. If it's for white, if it's black to move, he can draw. Good, good. We practiced this here at the dojo. This is one of our end games. We had an earlier complaint that some of the end games were too easy. This is being one of them. But, you got to practice that one. That's a pawn end game you got to know. Okay. I'm going to have to write down Lewis's quote here. So, let's keep going. Actually, let's just do a copy and paste, Bows. Can you do it? Do a copy and paste. I'll get my little notepad out, dude. Get my little notepad out. Because I'll lose that. That'll disappear in the chat. Okay, good. So, let's continue. That was Trevor. Oh, I blew it here. You all. Now we got Sage. Sage is doing good work. And I believe Sage has definitely graduated one time before. Let's read. Hello, you're probably wondering why I'm graduating while still being 1291. Well, I played an Xmas tour that was not included in this month's change, during which I got about 26 points. Being a woman of substance and knowing that I will not be completing any other tournaments in January, I decided to celebrate it in a timely manner instead of 1 month late. Feel free to savor my year's activity because it was top tier. If you like celebrating with me, take a look at the best game I ever played, AS 1400 National. Okay, I will. Very nice. Because I'm a woman of substance. Now, by the way, you guys, Sage is doing really good work in the annotations. I went through all of the cohorts and looked at at least one game from every player that is in the database. And Sage was one of the ones doing really good work. And you can see there's some dojo points here, my friends. That's a lot of work being done right there. Okay, so let's look at it. FIDE. Got FIDE going on here. And really cool that she is using the FIDE. I think she's in America, I think, and could you also use her USDF. Okay, so we're going to be looking at, maybe you guys can help me find the game. But first, actually, let's look how she did it. Dude, that's some work, my friends. Look at that. That's some really good work. Let's look at tactics. Oh, man, this is really good. Mates in 2, 1,000. And I think that's what you have to do up to 1,300, and then there's more after that. So that's really good. So, King H4, King F2, is that one winning? Yes, it is. So, let's look. And now, I think she said 14. I think this is the one, right? Should we double check? Here, hold on. Let's just scoreboard it. Just to make sure. So we got newsfeed. We got this one. And she says against AS 1400. Okay, let's look. Boom. E4. Good annotations. Good. So, this is all dojo aggressive repertoire, and now black makes a very common mistake. I've made this myself, and the point is that from the first glance, it seems like white is giving black a tempo, but in fact, the bishop on c5 is insecure. And the main point is now we have achieved our attacking setup with pieces beautifully situated with our strong point here, and this b4 move is going to be really annoying. So let's see how Sage does it. Check to the miserable bishop. Bishop f4. Okay. I just want to say, really good move, Sage, because loads of players would have played bishop h6, and the idea there would be they would be thinking pawns are people. But that knight is a chump. That knight's not doing anything. It's black's worst piece. You'd be solving it for them, right? So bishop f4 is substantially stronger. And we could also stress, you could do other things. You could have played knight bd2, but you're overprotecting this strong point, and that's a real beautiful thing. a6, loss of time. Queen d2. That's a pretty forcing move. And I actually love this comment. I had no specific aim. My only aim was to keep developing. Fine. Loss of time. Good. Now, one thing I want to stress about what she's doing, and to what extent this was conscious on her part, I don't know, but it's just good chess in general, is that at some point, black is going to need to free their pieces with f6. And when we overprotect e5, what's going to happen is, if they go after f6, which I think, I don't know, black's in a really bad spot, but eventually they're going to have to do it. And if they don't do it, it just means they haven't freed the position. But by overprotecting that point, it will mean that f6 will become harder, that more pain will flow into black's position, such as this one. This one, oftentimes the knight getting to e5. This diagonal becoming weaker. All of that is happening because we are in our attacking setup and have overprotected that pawn. Good move. And look at this. Bam! Holy moly! Man, now that's highfalutin. What is she saying? She's saying, Baus, I'm going to put your knight back in its cage. Go back. Check to the miserable queen. Oh! Oh no. Oh no. Bam! Sage, take it easy. No one deserves this. No one deserves this, Sage. What are you doing? No! Not the queen to A8. Get back, you fool. Woo! Man, look at that one, man. There's actually a game, I think it was also in the French. Nimzovich was playing, I think it's Vera Menchik or somebody, and also a queen lands on A8. That's being pushed all the way back. Check the miserable king. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Good move. Ah, there we go. Very good chess. I love, we could have done other things, but we are defaulting to just development. Fantastic. And black is like, I don't know what to do. Oh, that's a check. That's a check. Go ahead and get back, son. Ooh, look at that D file opening up. Oh, Sage, you got to be a little nicer. Got to be a little nicer. Now, hold on, though. I think the dude shouldn't resign quite yet. Needs to play on a little bit to find this position. And then let's look, because I think there's still a couple questions. So I think that's the best move, and it's just so brutal. It's so brutal. We're threatening mate and mate. Dang. I think this happened in a real game, you guys. I think this was the real thing. Dang. Yeah. So, very happy with this game. I feel too like, this is at the stage where you could start doing some opening work. And I definitely feel like she understood what this opening is about, and she definitely knew that this was this move here, very typical mistake. And man, and maybe much more important than the opening, she will be playing a bunch of players that don't respect time, that will be giving her time. And what did she do? She just said, I'm going to bring out my pieces, boss, and I'm going to figure out the rest later. And oh man, that's what happens. That's what it looks like when you bring out your pieces and your opponent doesn't develop. Thank you very much. Paul 24, I totally agree. That was great. Now let's go back. And Sage graduated. Yeah, it's a touch early. But I think what she's saying is there's some other tournament that's coming that's going to give her some points. Sage, you're going to make it. You're going to make it, especially if you continue doing the games analysis. That is really good work. Okay. Beautiful. Let's continue. And now we have autodidact dad. Boom. And autodidact dad is all ready to go again. Let's follow autodidact dad. And let's go back one. They did a lot of work. Nice. Let's click on the tactics. Good. Winning chess tactics. Good. Got some endgame work. Good. Games and analysis. Great. Let's go look. Okay. Fine. Now, notice actually, aficionados at the opening might be like, oh, this isn't good, blah, blah, blah. No, autodidact dad is just developing their stuff. Well, excuse me, autodidact dad is black. So let's actually read what they say. Placing the knight on c3 seems to be a mistake. Right. And another way of putting it is that the knight on c3 is blocking the c pawn from doing anything. Good, very solid. You could take it on f3 too. Good. Loss of time. Right. Hard to know where white's supposed to put the pieces. Good move. F4, very frisky. Okay, I'm glad you didn't take on E5. And here's time to come up with a plan. Personally, I like the fact that since they have just given you the light squares, that we can now kick the knight and then park this bad boy right here. No matter, we're going to get that square, after we kick the knight. A little weird. I don't know if I'm trying to get it. And go on loopy. I still want to play knight e4 after bishop e4. Good. That probably isn't it. Good. And something to stress here is that the rook on g3 is now completely out of play. Right? Now, knight takes b4 is fine. I want to stress, though, that I like this even better because that way our rook gets involved. After knight b4, a3, at least white can kind of sort of keep us out. Though here I think you missed something. You played knight c6, and after knight c6 they're going to have to do something like rook d1. It's fine what you did. It's fine. Jesse, stop complaining. Good move. Good move. Well, what we should say actually is you want to put your rook here first so that you can recapture with the knight, so that your rook will be active. And they should definitely take. And here I don't know if you want to be taking that knight, because now they got that pawn there. It's unnecessary. No one knows what that move does. Good move, activating the rook. Good. Now let me stress, white has now gotten themselves a little bit of play, which I don't feel they deserve, right? We're still doing great though. Good move. Superficial. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When they do superficial moves, my friends, that's the moment where we build our position, such as black has done now with this beautiful pawn chain. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That wasn't it. Now, rook a5 is fine. One thing I guess I would want is to say that in general, we want the rook behind the passed pawn. That's the best spot for it. You're still winning though. Good. Good move. Good move. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. King e5 is a good move. Now you had other moves. I like rook a2 as well. Good. There we go, Bows. There we go. You just resigned. Autodidact Dad, that was a good game, man. That was a good game. I think it's cool too is that you feel the problems with a move like knight c3, right? And, the complaints I had on your part were actually pretty minor. And the superficial play that your opponent did, a number of moves like rook f3, g3, just trying to create random threats, you were just responded with the cool, calm, and collected. And that's a good way to start wasting people here. You're definitely bringing it over here. Life can be so nice. Thank you. Yeah, he's referring to this course I did. I think some people didn't like it, by the way. They were like, Jesse, that was too weird of a course, Basically, I just wanted to, because it was, with the chessable courses, they want them to be really long, and I was like, no, Bows. This course is meant to be very short because it's ultimately something that you can grasp pretty quickly, right? Okay, so let's continue. That was Autodidact Dad making some great gains. And I did one click too many. now we got Raider. Oh, Raider, yeah, I remember Raider. Graduating to 1415, I wanted to wait until I was out of provisional status on Lead Chess and felt that I'm solidly in the rating range now. The biggest help so far is the Polgar mates, endgame work, and annotating games. Beautiful. Well, you're definitely there. There's no doubt about it. And let's look at some activity. I think if I remember, Raider hadn't done any. I guess there's some games he did. Loads of endgame work. Very nice. Here we go. Let's look at a game here. Okay, a little bit fancy. Now this is a very fancy position because black is getting ostensible development, but the claim that white has to be making here is that the pieces are actually poor. And probably for that reason, easier to play as black. And now they should definitely consider D5 to bust everything open. Well, that wasn't it, right? Because now you just got rid of their bad piece. So the whole idea of those B3 moves is to contain the piece. Whoa, take it easy. F5. A little weird. Now Queen E2 is weird. Of course you should play Queen C2. Knight F3 I like a little bit better. I like also moving the queen. Check to the miserable. Uh-oh. Wasted tempo. You got to at least try King F2 if you're going to play Knight F3. Okay, he's coming for you. Now we should be lost. Yeah, this is what happens when we don't develop. Oh, yeah. Well, here there's no good advice anymore, right? It's all gone. So let me just say, let's talk about tempo for a second. So this move here is, I think, an example of somebody learning an opening but not understanding it. And it's very hectic because you are going to be down in time here, right? Because you're going to eventually have to move this thing. And the only rationalization is to say that we're going to keep the knight out. We're going to keep the bishop out. But if you imagine those pieces get active, oh no, oh no, they're going to be doing stuff. And there's loads of GM analysis on this position of like black finding little tricky ways to bust white, give him a punch in the nose. Hi, boss Stefan. So Raider, you're doing it, buddy. Let me just say, this is another example. I feel like, when you say I remember this from reading, that might not be a good thing that you remembered it. Okay. So, always easier to play with development. Swifty, I remember, has graduated several times. I think one strength of the dojo is the balanced curriculum. It addresses all the various aspects a chess player needs to improve in harmony. My self-guided training pre-dojo was anything but harmonious. I clearly focused on certain aspects of my development more than others, perhaps because of availability, accessibility on YouTube or ChessCom, and probably because I found it more enjoyable. Past 3 months, I've recognized my lopsided personal development and targeted the aspects of the program that are least appealing, least enjoyable. Okay, good. My recent results seem to bear that out as I've flown through 12-13 and now 13-14. I suspect while some aspects of my game were 1819, other aspects had stagnated at 1000 and were firmly holding me back. My advice to any other student, find the difficult, unappealing parts of the dojo training program. It's there for a reason, and if you target that, it's probably going to be the most efficient use of your time. For me, it was the Polgar mates. Okay, nice. So, people are speaking my language here. So, 1408, congratulations. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's what it's supposed to look like. 244 points. Oh, that's looking great. So to get there, dude did 75 points work. Some people put their time in, some don't. Right? Okay. And we might not have any games. Let's see. No, we got some games. So this game was played very recently. Let's give it a look. Okay. So here we would want to actually talk about why knight g3 is the main move, and it's because of time. We want to kick the bishop and not lose time like knight c3 does. Fine. Fine. Okay. So you're doing fine because white is lost so much time themselves. But yeah, knight f6 would be better. H3 doesn't make any sense. Great. Loss of time. Good move. Good. I like it. Now, you could take on c4 and have a nice isolated pawn to play against. Seems a little bit more natural to me. Right, let's just say the obvious. If you played knight f6, you're going to play cd, knight d5, right? So if you want that, just take and then put it there next for free. It's about time. Now here we want to talk about DE. I think DE is a very powerful move where you will get an attack. DE followed by queen h4, followed by f5, f4. Okay. Okay, it's interesting because now that happens. Thank you very much. And that looks like a weakness. Pawn takes is interesting. Now, to my mind, the big question is, can white play f4? Personally, I would want to do it immediately as white, because after king g2, e5 is probably not so special. Okay. But now, like, what are we doing? Okay, so right, we need to go back a little bit, okay, to just think about the way this developed. So, let's say you get here. You're doing great, okay? Now, the thing to first understand about knight d5 is it's not a developing move. It doesn't necessarily mean that's a terrible thing, because I get it, you want to do some stuff. The default in all these positions where white isn't doing anything to you is to say, bows, let's stick a rook over here. Okay, so a standard move could be, let's say, queen h5. I just want to put a rook on d8. I don't even know which one yet. We'll see what they do, right? And then we'll go from there. Development. Here, I think taking with a c-pawn is arguably a little bit more dynamic. And c4 is loss of time and a weakening of the structure, right? now we need to think about how this is going to go down. The more I think about it, I think queen h4 is nice because I might want the f rook over here to really nail him, right? I want to kill him. Okay, Swifty. Good work, my man. Good work. Swifty's doing it, man. There are many people in the dojo who are really doing the work. Let's look at the year review. Pow! Swifty's year in review. Nice, look at that. Oh, look at that. Tactics. Those are the mate and twos he's doing. Points by month. Oh, look, top 10 tasks. Oh, look at this year in review. This is great. Uh-huh. Dojo points. Oh, you got a lot of non-dojo. Top 10 tasks. Uh-huh. Great. Okay. Well done, Swifty. Next up, we have Wayne Bean. Love the structure of the dojo and not worrying about what to study or starting 50 different books and courses and not finishing. Wasn't seeing huge improvement online, but after reading Ben Johnson's book, I was motivated to look for OTB play. Found a local club that plays USCF rated weekly. OTB feels like a completely different game. Doesn't even compare. I agree. The kind of focus I get, I can't replicate online, even when pairing it with a physical board. The graduation may be premature as my rating is still provisional, but I changed my preferred to USCF. Okay, good. Great. Okay. All right. I'll take credit for it, Wayne. I'll take credit for it. You guys, oh my God, we got so much left. I got to take a quick pause, and then I'll be right back. Chess Dojo training program was built around 3 principles. The first is that to improve at anything, you need a structure and a plan to follow, something you can trust. And so at the dojo, we have material, whether you're an absolute beginner or you're a grandmaster, we have the appropriate material to get you to the next level. The second principle is something that also can be used to learn anything, and that's called the principle of plus minus equal, that you need somebody above you, an equal, and somebody below you. And in terms of the dojo, what that means is above you, you will have the senseis and other higher rated players who will give you insight and critique maybe on your games. But at a deeper level, the program itself is the plus that you have to give some measure of authority to follow the program. Your equal is your cohort. These are the people with whom you are going to spar out positions, you're going to discuss books, you're going to play against, you're going to have postmortems. It's a very rich community. And then finally, and this is very important, you need a minus, and this is somebody to whom you can explain your ideas. And only when you can explain your ideas to somebody who doesn't get them yet, have you truly understood those ideas yourself. The third principle is very chess specific, and that is really a Soviet Botvinnik principle, and that you have to go over your games in order to progress. And so at the dojo, we have a games database, and you will be publishing your analysis into that database. Now, the act of publishing, when you're analyzing the game, will have the effect that you know that somebody else, maybe myself, will read your analysis, okay? And so you will try harder to be clearer about what you are thinking about, to be clear on your analysis. And that process of becoming clearer will help your thoughts get clearer too. And one of the great successes of the dojo is just throughout the years we've been doing this, we have a great collection of games annotated by a variety, all the levels of player out there. And so you can, before you even do the annotations yourself, you can see what a good annotation looks like at your level. So those are the three principles of the dojo. And finally, one of the beautiful things about the dojo is it really is a community. And it exists on the Discord, where you can ask questions either to ourselves or to the community, to your cohort, right? And then also we have a news feed where you can follow players and give them encouragement, questions, all that kind of thing as well. So 3 principles plus a community is the basis of the dojo and of chess improvement. The Chess Dojo training program was built around 3 principles. The first is that to improve at anything, you need a structure and a plan to follow, something you can trust. And so at the dojo, we have material, whether you're an absolute beginner or you're a grandmaster, we have the appropriate material to get you to the next level. The second principle is something that also can be used to learn anything, and that's called the principle of plus minus equal, that you need somebody above you, an equal, and somebody below you. And in terms of the dojo, what that means is above you, you will have the senseis and other higher rated players who will give you insight and critique maybe on your games. But at a deeper level, the program itself is the plus that you have to give some measure of authority to follow the program. Your equal is your cohort. These are the people with whom you are going to spar out positions, you're going to discuss books, you're going to play against, you're going to have postmortems. It's a very rich community. And then finally, and this is very important, you need a minus, and this is somebody to whom you can explain your ideas. And only when you can explain your ideas to somebody who doesn't get them. Okay, let's continue. So, I think we're starting to look at Wayne Beam here. 1996, okay. So there's Wayne, USCF. Oh, dude, he's crushing with USCF. Crushing it. Nice. Now, maybe that's a, provisional rating and everything, but very cool that Wayne has gone the route to OTB. By the way, the book he is referencing, we talked a little bit on our Dojo Talks. This is Ben Johnson's book, kind of the compilation of all the people of advice of all the people who have come to talk on his show about chess training and their chess journeys. So that's cool that Wayne's been turned on to that. Let's take a look. We're going to go back one, and we got that. We got a bunch of games. So now look, Wayne, you got to give yourself credit, Bows. You got to give yourself credit over here. You did all this work. I guess here's where you're putting it down here. Yeah. Now, it might be truly aspirational, Wayne, that you jump this far, this fast. Maybe not. But, one thing I want to stress is it's okay to demote yourself if it doesn't work out. I might even devote myself. I have had a rough run of it, I could demote myself. And I think what the thing is, it's a little controversial, is if you stay if you lose 25 points below your cohort for 3 months, that Jack is going to have a little annoying thing that's going to come up and be like, Bows, you need to demote yourself. No one wants to demote themselves. Okay, here we go. Aggressive repertoire. Chester. Okay. Boom. Boom. D6. Okay. Boom. Yeah, all right. I like the note. I like the note a lot. Knight E2. Okay. I understand why you did it. Knight E2 here. If you're going to play Knight E2, though, this would be the place to do it, right? And the intention there, and I have some lines in the course, they're similar, is we might want to take back with a knight, but also we want this option to maybe play Knight G3 to play on the light squares. So it feels inconsistent. Actually, what you said, right? Knight F3. Unprovoked. And knight c6 is funky because now the knight is dominated by the pawn on c3. And you write about d5. I agree. It's got to have to try to do something like that. All right, you went for it, bows. Boom! That's the bold move right there. That's the bold one. Knight a5. It's going to get hot. Bishop b3. h6. Not a good move because now that's going to be a target square. Good. Good. Okay. And now here's a critical moment for us. I think we're doing great, by the way. We have really good control. We've solidified the e4 point. And the ambitious plan for us here would definitely be g4 intending g5. I don't understand queen f2. And he talks about d4. d4, no, I don't like it. It's interesting, but you're letting the knight in. Yeah. Now, it's a very spicy situation. The good news for us is black really doesn't have any play. Like, there's no way for black to increase the pressure on the e4 pawn. So, like I said, g4 is the spice girls over here, intending to roll them up. Are there other ways of doing it? Yes, there are. Yeah. Okay, so queen f2, he misses it. Misses it. Of course he should play de4. Right, and then the trick that we fall into now is not developing, and again we're going to lose the e4 point. And now black's pieces really become freed by this. I'm not sure I understand queen g3. Not sure I understand that. Queen d5, good. I don't understand queen c8. Good move. Okay. Okay. No, I don't. I don't like it. I don't like that move. He needed to do something else. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a mistake to let you in there, my friend. Now you're on top. Very good. Boom. Nice move. Nice move. Check the miserable king. Very nice. Holy Federico. Ole, 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 ole. That's right, buddy. Federico's come to the party now. Bam. Yes, sir. And that's it. Very good, Wayne Beam. Yeah, really good. So, Wayne, delicious, dude. Delicious. All right. You know what I was thinking when I took my little break? The graduate show has gone so large that maybe I should split it into two parts. Because, you know, we've been on here for 2 hours. We're not done. We're not done, my friends. Okay, so Q probably should have, well, let's see. Yeah, needed to wait to graduate. Look at all these graduations, Q. What's going on, buddy? I've done some stuff. Let's take a look. Okay, aggressive repertoire. Here we go. Good move. That's a good annotation, too. Even though I think it's probably better than that. Incorrect, yeah. Check to the miserable king. Knight e2. Very good. No, the answer is no. The answer is development. Opening up the king. You're absolutely right. Now, before we play DC, though, I think rook b1 should be thought about. Dang. Dang. You serious, Bows? You're just going to wail on this guy like this? Wow, look at this variation. DE, castles, and he says it's over. Now, it might be over, but it still needs a couple more variaciones, if you know what I mean. Like, we got to talk about knight c6. But I love the Morphy-like continuation here. Just the spirit of it. Good move. Check to the miserable king. By the way, variations were needed. Like king c6, we still got to talk about it. Check to the miserable queen. Oh, brutal. That isn't it. Oh, that's called mate. Dang. Dang. So this is confusing. So this was presented when he's in the 700, 800 cohort. And he's graduated a million times. So it's a little confusing with the ratings. But still, that was a great game. It's cool to see the aggressive repertoire slaying people. We've had a couple aggressive repertoire slay games here. Okay, next up is Personal Journalist. All the recommendations on books and tactics were very helpful. Honestly, I can't comment much because I really haven't followed the program closely enough. Okay, here we go. Okay, 1613. Western Maryland, okay. Fun. I'll probably run into Personal Journalist at some point here. Well done. Okay. That was looking good. No games. So hopefully we'll find some games from Personal Journalist soon. That's great. All right. So next up we have Hualong's a double graduation. I feel like I remember Hualong here, 1657. Look at that. Beautiful rating graph. And then we got, go back. Oh, right, because dude graduated twice. Yeah, there it is, mostly tactics. Let's see how it happened. Mates in 2, 1470 of them. It gets harder at 1471. That'll be the next task here. We've got several games. All right, let's take a look. Cool that the times seem to be given. Yeah. Spicy. Bishop G4. Obviously a little weird. Oh, this is fun. First move out of book. Jeez. Jeez. Yeah, notice that the reason you're doing Queen C1 is because your other line had Queen C1 involved, whereas here it doesn't make as much sense. Okay, so now it's time to make a plan. And you mentioned Bishop E3. So let's think about Black's problems for a second. The guy has a bishop that is going to find it hard to actually find the diagonal to use, right? And we have two bishops, which will be very strong. If we could just magically play Bishop B5, take C6 in one move, would it be that big of an accomplishment? I don't know. I kind of don't think so. So this is the kind of position where we would want to think about how to improve it And I like bishop e3 because it stops bishop h6. H4 isn't ridiculous either, just to try to put the pawn on h5. And there we're just trying to develop the rook. So I think what I want you to see with bishop e5 is you're guilty of thinking that pawns are people, right? That's the narrative of the game, is to give him double pawns. Where your bishop is amazing. Look how much better it is than that chump knight. Interesting move, I like it. And now all of a sudden black has a little bit of activity. Where before they deserved to die. And now they might be alive. King d7, good move. No, I don't like it. I don't like f5 either. What would be more natural? Rook b8. I don't like it either. Now this is mobilizing your rook on f1. Maybe they should have pushed past. Good move. Poor move. He needed to play h5, I think. Oh, I got passive. Needed to play rook g2. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm really happy with this analysis here. And when I say happy, I just, yes, this is how you learn to play the end game, by doing an analysis like this. Okay, good. So now king takes f3. Check to the miserable king. I mean, this looks winning too. And now rook d7. And this is great. This is exactly the kind of analysis you want to be doing. And we've helped the king basically back. And now it's no longer easy at all. Okay, good analysis. Again, good. Now we have a little problem. So, king c3, rook here. I guess there's not. I guess we are in trouble here. Darn it. I'm happy. I assume maybe in the game you thought this was winning, and it's so close. Bummer. Okay. So, Claw knows this dude. My friends, this is, I think, is going to happen here. I am going to pause this show, and I'm going to come back to it tomorrow morning or in the afternoon. But I'm going to finish it later because there's things, pressure on my soul. But I will finish this thing, and we'll get the rest done later tomorrow. And we'll just take a quick look at our news feed and look. We have several graduations left, right? FM is my dream. I like that name. Deep WS Lish, we know that dude. H White Cheddar, we know that dude. And Sveb, I don't know about Sveb yet. Okay, my friends, so I'm going to leave it there. What's the highest rated graduation? Good question, actually. We got to get that check. I think to 22 to 23 so far has been the big one. All right, who are we going to raid? My friends, moving with Matt, team fight tactics. I have no idea what that means, but let's try it out. Moving with Matt. Probably some dude without a shirt on. I'm going to get in trouble with Kostya. Kostya, you're running around Europe chasing some girl. Give me a break. I have no sympathy. No sympathy. Can I do a Yasser impression? Soon, my friend, soon. Bye, everybody.